Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Airy in the Air. I'm stoked you're here. Today, I'm going to take you back to Italy. I'm going to show you a little more footage, just this crazy clip of something that totally broke my brain. I'm going to give you a couple of tips about how to fly in the really big mountains and how to read the wind so that you know which side is the lee. Important stuff. And I'm also going to tell you some exciting stuff of what's coming up on this channel that you can expect. Get stoked, get involved, hit subscribe. Ready? Here we go.
See ya.
I'm paragliding!
See ya.
Let's start with this flight. This is a place in Italy that I've talked about before. I'm going to show you me launching the Zeolite GT here from the Hochmut in Dorf Tirol. This is the home site of Aaron Duragati and his other cadre of friends who are some of my close Italian homies, Roland and Matthias. Here I am launching the Zeolite GT. And very steep and light wind / crosswind launch, and you climb out in front of launch here. Today I'm going to fly into the Parco Nazionale dello Stellvio. So basically as we basically I climb up here and I'm getting back towards the 9 lakes that are above Dorf Tirol, very famous place here. The Texelgruppe is this piece of the Alps, just incredible, coming out of a cloud here.
Texelgruppe, yeah.
Texelgruppe. Okay, so pause for a sec. You can see there are 9 lakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's a couple more here. Oh, there's 8 and 9. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head this way towards this first triangular peak here. And then I'm going to cross over on, there's a valley that's going up into the mountains there. This is Cima Bianca. This is the white mountain, the white summit here. And there's a valley between the further terrain in there. I'm going to cross that valley. And here in this valley, the big valley creates a lot of wind. And so it's actually kind of not working there. So I'm going to fly across, and these far big white mountains that you can see in the distance over here on the left side of the frame, those are the big mountains that I'm going to fly to today. And I made some really good moves on this, and I saw some really amazing stuff. And I also made a huge mistake, and I didn't just make it once, I made it twice. And I'm going to tell you about that too. Okay, ready? Here we go. So it's just so beautiful here. Okay, so that, now I've flown across that valley and I've made the far crossing, and now I'm like, now dead ahead, you can see these are the big white mountains that you saw in the distance, okay? So what we're looking at right here is this decision point, okay? I'm high, you can see I'm at cloud base or above it as I'm just like wisping through this cloud, which is why I turned my camera on, because basically, I don't record my whole flight. I only turn my GoPro on when I'm just like, holy shit, this is incredible. I have to show these guys. So that's why I've brought this clip back for you, because something incredible is going to happen that I'm really not used to here flying in the American West. It's something so surreal and so magical that I had to make an entire video about it. And this is that video. Okay, so as I'm heading onto this mountain, okay, this, as far as I can tell, I think this is a mountain called the Zufrichtspitze. And if you're from the Stellvio area, please correct me if I'm wrong. But you can see that the cloud base is shading out the part of the mountain that I'm going to fly onto. Okay, and basically I have flown on this ridge. You see that I'm on like the pilot's left side of the ridge. I have flown on pilot's left side of the ridge for about 25 kilometers to get to this point. But now the pilot's left side of the ridge is in the shade, and I just am faced with a decision point, okay? The decision is very simple, and you face this decision many times in your life. It's left or right. the implications of this decision, left or right, can be huge, right? Like if you fly yourself onto the windward side of the mountain, you boom out, it's beautiful, your day continues, you make a great transition, yada, yada, yada. If you fly into the wrong side and you fly into the lee, you take a huge collapse, you lose a bunch of altitude, you run away super scared, you get a fear injury, your girlfriend breaks up with you, you dive into alcohol and drug abuse, you lose your housing, your family disowns you, you end up on the streets, maybe it doesn't go that far. At least you fly into the lee and it sucks. It definitely doesn't work as well. The air is ratty. You might take a collapse. It's more dangerous. You might have to push full speed to run away from it and lose all of your altitude. It might end your flight. It might end your life. Okay, so that's just a setup that left or right is fucking important right here. It's something that gave me angst as I flew onto this. I was like, I was not super confident in my decision. The couple things that I'm thinking about when I'm trying to make this decision. How strong has the meteorological wind been in the last 20K that I've been flying down this ridge? Okay. The answer to that on this particular day was pretty light. Okay. So this ridge is not like the huge hoovering valley that Bolzano sits in, and I'm going to interact with that valley later and make a horrible decision. Or let me say, the wrong choice of left or right. I did it right this time. Okay. Spoiler alert. I did it right this time. And then I did it wrong twice in a row, 3 hours from now. Okay. So, the meteorological wind wasn't that strong. So it's not going to create a bunch of rotary lee. Because of that, I think, okay, one side is sunny, one side is shady. The decision is pretty simple. I'm going to fly to the sunny side of this mountain. And sure enough, I was right. Look, as I fly through this wisp here, hold on, let's go back just a second here. Let's show that clip again, folks, just because it's a really special clip. So I flying, text a grouper. Okay, and then past this little wisp. Oh, I just love the parallax. Anytime you get to fly next to things in paragliding, it's just the best. Okay, so this is on the far side of that mountain. So I basically flew past it without incident, and now I find myself on the other side, and of course, the col is very high, like the terrain surrounding the peak is very high, so I don't have a ton of altitude over the ground. Obviously, I can glide out, but I'm turning in something that's kind of light here, and it's broken. I'm kind of like, oh, that's actually relatively productive. But looking at the sky and having flown where I just flew, and look at this little tiny glacier, it's like melting, and it's dying, and climate change right here, and dang it. But here I'm turning, no beeps. That's a huge mistake. Don't turn unless it beeps. Okay, I'm finding more beeps. But in general, I'm not getting beeps all the way around, so I grab my rear risers and I step on the bar to transition because I know there's big clouds around here. I'm on a huge freaking mountain, so there's got to be something better. So pause for a second. This is going to be a perfect example of your turning threshold, right? Your thermaling threshold. That is like when you're searching for a climb, how much climb do you have to feel before you come off the bar and turn? And in this case, I've been flying down this ridge for a long time, so I have a sense of the day. I also have huge indicators, right? Big cumulus clouds. I've also had some pretty strong climbs during the day, so I know there's something real out here. There's something 4 to 5 meters a second. So I'm on the bar. You hear I'm flying through beeps. I'm not turning. That's a lot of beeps. I come off the bar and I'm on the brakes here, right? I think about turning, I start, and then I think, no, stop it. You know it's out here. Keep pushing. There it is. I'm still flying straight. Still haven't even turned. Okay, now I'm gonna start turning, because I just flew through 4.5 meters a second, so I know I was there. And as it starts to slow down, pause for just a second. As I fly through the real strong parts of the lift, I wait, and then when it starts to slow down, I turn. If it gets real strong and it's like in excess of 5 meters a second, I don't wait, I turn, right? But in this case, I was pushing forward because I think it's out there. So I'm going to push. I'm going to stay with this. Let's see what's out there. Also, I'm not in a race here. I'm flying cross country. I'm by myself. I'm in some of the most beautiful mountains in the world. I'm really not fretting this too much. I'm trying to enjoy my time. I'm trying to relax. It's okay to fly through the core. You can turn around and find it again. It's okay. Like, my mindset here is pretty relaxed. And I find it, right? And this is a beautiful core. I'm gonna switch the direction of my turn here just because I like to turn left. I'm not an ambi turner, Pop. Okay, and so in just a second, I'm going to shut the camera off. But look at where I am already. The Zufrit Spitze is level with me now, and I'm turning. Okay, so I'm about to turn the camera off. As you can see, big white mountains, these incredibly turquoise lakes, just unbelievable color. It is blowing my mind. The next clip that's going to start here in just a second is the thing that I am not used to. This doesn't happen in America. It happens in the Alps fairly regularly, apparently, because I experienced it a number of times. Here we go. Okay, so as you can see, now I'm over the top of the glacier. I'm way over the peak. The climb is really strong. I'm cranking the turn. 5.5 meters a second right here. And this cloud is a huge column. So basically I climbed up and then the air started condensing into a cloud. And then as I keep climbing, I get just climbing up the side of this cloud column, which is just unbelievable because it's an object that I get to fly next to. I get that parallax effect. I can tell how fast I'm turning. I can tell how fast my glider is moving. I can tell my turn radius. All this stuff, it just makes it so much more obvious. And the mountain scenery up here is just absolutely unbelievable. And I've climbed 2,000 feet up the side of this cloud column. I'm gonna turn my camera off because I'm a ding dong. I'm trying to save battery or trying to save card space, when in reality I wish I could just watch that over and over. But this crazy effect that the air is rising so fast that it's condensing a cloud lower than the absolute cloud base, and then it's just growing and growing and growing and growing, and you just get to climb with that thing. It's just insane. It's so cool. And I might be breaking the rules a little bit, but honestly, as you can tell from my elated state, even just looking at the footage about it, I don't give a shit. Play. Okay, so as you can see, I'm gliding, and I'm gliding towards Switzerland. Okay, this is very near the border of Italy and Switzerland. These mountains, this is the Stellvio, the heart of the Stellvio, and these mountains that you can see in the distance, obviously this is GoPro footage, so you can't see it nearly as well as I could see it, right? Human eyes are just incredible in their ability to zoom in and zoom out, right? I can look at my fingerprints and I can also look at mountains 30 miles away. But these huge glaciers, just unbelievable, okay? Also, as you can see in the corner here, this lake is a reservoir. It's dammed so high, and it's just the infrastructure around here just blows my mind. So let's keep going. This literally, I just recorded this to bring back to you the scene. Like, look at this. And I try to do this perfect parallax pan shot with my head, right? To just show you, look at where I am. This is why paragliding is so amazing. You can't get these places without a paraglider. As you can see, I'm shaking my hands out. I'm at 14,000 feet. These mountains are 11,000 foot tall and more. I'm shaking my hands out. It's super cold. I'm in my little hike and fly pod. It's not super warm. So the whole thing is just unbelievable. Okay. One more clip here. This is as close to these mountains as I get. I turn around and I fly back the other way. Had I closed this triangle, it would have been 110, 120, 130, something like that. I'm probably like 55K from launch, and then I flew back towards Bolzano from here, if you want to look at a map. Now, this is the heart of the Stellvio National Park, and I flew back towards Bolzano, and I basically was faced with another one of these left or right decisions. Well, in my next left or right decision, basically the wind had been at my back. I had a really good ground speed going towards the mountains. Well, the thing that I didn't take into consideration as much as I should have was that I was getting closer and closer and closer to like the main valley. And if you just zoom out on a mountain range, you can just kind of pick the bigger the valley, the more wind it's going to entrain, right? And I was getting closer and closer to the main valley. And because of this, even though the wind was at my back, 5 minutes before, 5 kilometers before, as I got closer and closer to this main ridge, the meteorological wind, the valley wind, was stronger and stronger and stronger. And so I picked the sunny side and the side that I had a tailwind going towards, but I was wrong. And it was confusing at first because I was so convinced that it would work that when I chose left and I immediately got beat down and beat down and beat down and then found a lee side climb that spit me out again, I was faced with another decision, left or right. And I made the same decision that I had, which was going on the wind that my instrument was reading, which I had tailwind yet again, and I was on the solar aspect yet again. But I was also 5 hours into my flight, and I'm flying in really big mountains that, I'm not used to flying in really big mountains all day long. Here on my huge flights in Oregon, I'll go from one range and I'll get onto a mountain range and then I'll go and go and go until it ends. And then I basically get flats and then I might find another one. But these really complex valley systems of like different sizes of valleys and different sizes of mountains, and it all plays different. And as the day progresses, you can expect this and expect that. It's all just like a chess piece that's relatively new to me. I was 5 hours in. And so I'm dealing with some pilot fatigue, and that's a hard thing to deal with. And so I made this wrong decision twice, and it put me in the lead. Luckily, I was right on top of the peaks. I wasn't like down way into the valley. And so flying into the lead there just means, I find a little sink and I'm like, I'm on the wrong side of this. I push the speed bar away from the terrain and I fly in really like not turbulent, terrible air anyways, and I just fly away, and I have to find some place to land because if you don't stay high in the afternoon around the valleys, then the valleys become windy, the thermals get broken up, and you get flushed. That's just how that goes. So some of the really important takeaways here for me are the pilot fatigue, which I have a system to train you on how to up your pilot fatigue. And I have a new course that's coming out in December that features Gavin McClurg and Dr. Annie Pendergraft and Revis Sutphin Gray on weather. And so we're going to really give you over the winter break here, we're going to give you some off-season training that's really going to help you up your paragliding game. Stay super tuned for that. Also, if you want to fly in the mountains like this with me, I am doing 2 tours, clinics, XC clinics next year in Italy. I'm going back. We're going to do the Learn to Thermal and Learn to Fly Cross Country in Bassano del Grappa, which is an incredible place to fly. And then we will do a 1-week advanced cross country mountain thermaling course in the heart of the Dolomites. It's going to be insane. You're not going to want to miss that. Stay tuned at theparaglidingacademy.com and here on the Area in the Air channel. Stoked to help you guys learn and up your game in a really serious way. Stay tuned for the course. I'm so excited about that, to teach you guys all this stuff. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for coming on this ride with me. I hope it was helpful. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.